Hi, welcome to Reporting 101. My name is Blakesley. I'm an onboarding specialist here at MarketMan, and today we're going to be covering reporting. So we're going to be looking at all the reports that you can use in MarketMan, how to produce each one of them, how to analyze them, and how to use them to become more successful. So when we first come into MarketMan, the first report that we want to be looking at is going to be our cost of goods report, which is found underneath the reporting section. In order to produce our cost of goods report, we need two inventory counts in MarketMan, our sales coming through, and we need to be receiving our orders. So to run this report, you're just going to come up to the left-hand corner to the dates and choose two dates to run this report. If you see a green box, that means that it's day start. And if you see a blue box, that means that it was a day end count. So you can choose two counts if you'd like, or you can choose two random dates and click confirm, and it's going to run this report for you. One other thing we want to make sure that we're doing is going up to the gear icon in the right-hand corner and making sure that all of our inventory categories and all of our POS categories are accounted for. So for example here, if we had any outliers, all you have to do is drag and drop these into the MarketMan categories in the center and click Save. And it's going to produce this report for you. Here, we'll be able to see our overall cost of goods and gross profit. We'll be able to see this by category and by the individual item. The way that we calculate our actual usage and cost of goods is our opening inventory plus our purchases subtracted by our closing inventory times the price. That gives us our actual usage and cost of goods. If you forget what any of these columns are, you can just click on the little calculator icon next to each one, and it's going to break it down for you into this logbook. Here it will show you how we got the opening inventory. It will show any purchases, any transfers if you're a multi-location. It will show your closing inventory and then how your actual usage and COGS was calculated. For items that do have purchases, if you'd like, you can scroll down and you can actually click on any of these invoices, and it's going to open into a separate tab for you so you can dive a little bit deeper into that specific invoice. Please keep in mind that any of these columns are filterable. So if you just click on the top, it's going to filter to your highest cost of goods. And sometimes we also might have a negative cost of goods. If you have a negative cost of goods, this could just be because maybe you counted wrong or there's a missing invoice for this item. The next thing we want to look at in cost of goods is going to be by category. So before we dive into that, we'd just like to say that we suggest to our clients to try to keep your cost of goods in between 20 and 30%. So if you are out of that range, one way that you can do this is work on this by category. So if you just want to come in and click on any category and scroll down, it's going to show you your overall cost of goods for this category and your gross profit. It will also show you each subcategory underneath, for example, here, beverages. And here you can filter your cost of goods. You can see that beer is our highest cost of goods. So over time, we want to work on getting this subcategory lower and lower, and that will make our whole beverages category lower. And over time, it's just making our COGS decrease. The next report we want to look at is going to be the purchase by items report, which is also found in the reporting section. The purchase by items report can be filtered by supplier or by whatever date range you would like. Also keep in mind, any report that has the arrow in the right-hand corner can be exported to Excel or PDF. So when we're looking at this report, it's just going to show us the inventory item, the category, the total quantity purchased over that period of time, any transfers if you're a multi-location, and that will give us our total quantity, average price, and the total cost. So when we're looking at these, all of these are filterable again, and you can just use the little arrow next to the item, and it's going to break it down for you and show you each invoice that this item was on, the quantity, and the price. So our users are really using this report to just look at how much am I ordering over a period of time. Maybe you're ordering too much of one item over time, whatever it is. This is just a place to come in and look at what's being purchased. The next report we want to look at is the open orders report, also found underneath the reporting section. This can be filtered by supplier or by whatever date range you would like. Again, this can be exported into an Excel as well. Here you can see the supplier, the invoice number, delivery, and sent date, and then you can see the grand total. So these are any orders that have not been received yet. So we just want to make sure that we're going in and either receiving these orders or figuring out why they have not been received yet. The next report we want to look at is going to be the inventory count value report, which is found underneath the inventory section. So the inventory count value report can be filtered by whatever inventory count you'd like. Our users are using this if we have a count that seems off or something's missing. You can just choose the count and it's going to load for you, and you can use the arrow to dive deeper into each category. So for example, here our liqueurs are at 0. So here you can see this person went in and counted vermouth as 0. So this is a great example, just because if you're putting 0, that means you have absolutely none of that item left. However, maybe this person just meant to actually skip the count that day. So this is something that we can go in and double check, and maybe that's why this count seems off. The next report we want to be looking at is going to be the waste report, which is found underneath the reporting section. In the waste report, we're going to filter by whatever date range that we'd like and click confirm, and it's going to run the report for us. And we can also filter by category if you'd like. Here, it's going to show us our total waste and total purchases, and we can change this report to view it however we'd like. So here you can see the category that you're wasting the most of, and it's going to show us the total waste. And you can also filter by reason. So you can see that our most wasted items are ones that are actually expired or spoiled, being thrown out at the end of the day, whatever it is. Here, when we come down to the bottom, you can see the item that's being wasted, what type it is, if it has a category, and then you can see the total quantity and value. So here you can see our meatballs are being wasted the most, and that's something we want to go in and double check. So if you go back to category, you can see the preparation is being wasted the most. So maybe you're making too many of these meatballs and they're going bad. This is a place to go in and just examine all of that. The next report we want to be looking at is the menu profitability report, which is found underneath the inventory section. In order to produce this report in MarketMan, we need to have your sales coming through and your recipes built out. You can also be manually uploading your sales if your POS isn't connected. So here you can filter by whatever date you would like. It's going to show you the menu item, the quantity sold, the menu item price and total sales, and it will also show you how much it costs to make this item and the total ingredient cost, which will give us our total profit. Here we'll be able to see which items are costing us the most money and which ones are costing us the most to make, etc. So this is a good place to just come in and check on if you want to do any specials, any happy hours, which dishes are losing you money, whatever it is. Any of these columns are filterable, so all you have to do is double click on here and it's going to filter this for you. So here you can see our highest, our item that's making us the most money. The next report that we are going to go through is going to be the actual versus theoretical report, which is also found in the inventory section. The actual versus theoretical report is one of the hardest reports to obtain in MarketMan, but it's also one of the most powerful. So in order to run this report, you need 2 inventory accounts, your recipes built out, your sales connected or being uploaded, and all your purchases are done through MarketMan. So to produce this report, you're just going to choose 2 inventory accounts and click run, and it's going to run the report for you. Here, we're going to see our actual usage and our theoretical usage. The way that this is calculated is our opening inventory plus our purchases subtracting by our closing, and that gives us our actual usage. Then we have our theoretical usage, which is based on sales, waste events, and production events, and then that is going to give us our variance. So when we're looking at this report, we can either have a negative variance or a positive variance. So we'll go through an example of both. Here, for example, we'll go through down here the Parmesan cheese. So here you can see we opened with 11 pounds of Parmesan cheese. We didn't purchase any, and we closed with 11. So this is showing us over this time that there was no cheese used. However, according to our sales, we sold 18 pounds of cheese. It wasn't used in any waste events, and it wasn't used in any production events. So that's showing us that there's 18 pounds of cheese that are missing. So when we have a variance like this, here we can see that it's being used in our sales. So this could mean that maybe our recipe isn't built out yet. Maybe we have a modifier with the Parmesan cheese in it that isn't being added yet, whatever it is. When we have a positive variance, that's what we want to go check. Any recipes that this should be in or that it isn't, to just make sure that it's built out correctly. Now, when we have a negative variance, if we come down here, we'll go to here are grape tomatoes. It can show that we opened with 12 pounds of grape tomatoes. We purchased 140 and we closed with 12. So this is showing us that we used 140 grape tomatoes over this period of time. Here you can see it wasn't sold, it wasn't used in any waste events, and it wasn't used in any production events. So there's 140 pounds of grape tomatoes missing. So when we have a negative variance, this could mean maybe we're over portioning, maybe there's theft going on, whatever it is, that's something we want to go and double check. Keep in mind over time, you're always going to have a variance here and there because nothing's perfect, but when you're having a very large variance over time that's consistent, that's something that you really want to look into. The last report we're going to be looking at is the dashboard. So to look at the dashboard, you can just click on the header in the left-hand corner and it will bring you back here. So the dashboard can be run by orders or by invoices and delivery notes. Here you'll see all of our purchases by supplier. You can see our common bought products, our weekly purchasing, our purchases versus what our targets were, our overall food cost, and any of these are filterable by just clicking on here. So you can filter it by different periods of time. You can also do this by invoices and delivery notes. So when you do that, it's just going to come through and run all of these reports based off that. So before we open this up to questions, I just wanted to mention one last thing, which is our referral program. If you come up to the right-hand corner and you click on that little button that says refer a friend, here you can see if you refer a friend to MarketMan and they sign up, you will receive a $250 gift card, Amazon gift card. So this is really a no-brainer. Make sure to check this out. It's a great deal, something you should look into. So stick around if you have any questions. Thank you.